The Shulchan Aruch says this about the person who is reading the Megillah. Taf Reish Tzadi, Aleph. Korei Adam et HaMegillah ben Omeid ben Yoshev. A person can read the Megillah standing or sitting. I mean, there's a question about the bracha, but since the Megillah doesn't mention God's name, it doesn't really matter if he's standing or he's sitting, because the important thing is that everybody should hear it. Everybody should know what is being said. So the Mishnah Berurah says immediately, "Miyu bracha yevarech b'amidah." That's how we certainly do it that way. We make the bracha. We say the bracha standing. Even if you're going to sit for some reason, in small groups, when a man reads for women or something like, often they sit. But when they say the bracha, they stand. But he should not, in the tzibur, in a big public collection of people, lo yikra yoshev l'chatchila b'bnei kavod hatzibur. The Shulchan Aruch says that this is not the proper way to act when there is a tzibur. But since, when you read the Torah, you stand. The only time we sit is when we read Megillat Eicha for obvious reasons. And then the Shulchan Aruch says this, an interesting halacha. Afilu shnayim, v'afilu asara, yicholim likrota b'yachad. I'm learning Seif Bet. Tav Reish Tzadi, Seif Bet. 2 together. 10 together. They can read it like a choir, a cappella. V'yotzim heim v'shom'im mehem. This is a special halacha that is found only in the context of reading the Megillah. And the Mishnah Berurah explains as follows. Lo amrina de'trei kale lo mishtama. You know that there's this rule that when you have to hear something, in order to fulfill your obligation, like you have to hear Tkiyat HaShofar, the blowing of the shofar. So we won't let 2 people blow shofar at the same time, even if they do it pretty much together. No, we're not going to allow that, because there's a rule. Trei kale lo mishtamai. We don't listen to 2 recordings. We don't listen to an echo. Right? All of these things come into that category. And that is true when it comes to Kriyat Torah and all other kinds of halachot where somebody is making a statement on your behalf. And then he says, why? Why is the reading of the Megillah different? And this is an important thing to remember. The Kriyah Zo Chaviva Biyoter Mipnei Hanes. This is a special reading. Chaviva Biyoter. It's beloved by the community. Mipnei Hanes. Because this miracle was of such importance for the Jews in their history, and that this miracle established very clearly to us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is concerned about the path that Am Yisrael takes in history, that even when it comes to reading the Megillah, usually we don't allow a public reading to be done by several people together. In this case, you do. V'yahiv da'atei, the Mishnah Berurah says, the Mishnah Berurah was a Litvak, and he says, V'yahiv da'atei l'shmoa hitev. He says, you have to listen very carefully to make sure that you get it right. V'kevan shekain, pashut hu, be'im hirgish ba'atzmo shemivalbelim lahakolot, v'shiyeh efshar lo l'shmoa kol ha'tevot, v'adai lo yatsa. But we know that there's another halacha with Kriyat HaMegillah, and that halacha is that you have to hear every single word. So if these people who are reading the Megillah together are able to maintain a kind of a clarity in their reading, if they really have practiced being like a choir and saying the words according to the same rate, then you're yotzei. But if you feel that you don't really hear the words and you don't really understand, then you're not yotzei. Now it's true that this halakha is probably a little esoteric, Personally, I've never been in a shul where they had more than one person reading the Megillah at the same time. But incidentally, we've come across two important halachot. And one is that the reading of the Megillah has a joyous aspect to it. It's something special. It's not just that we're listening carefully to fulfill our obligation, but the listening itself gives us pleasure, makes joy in the community. And the second halacha that we've learned inadvertently, but which is clearly stated in the Shulchan Aruch, is that you have to hear every word. And listening to every word in the Megillah, as we will see, is not always a simple matter.